Hello everyone, this is the EDAP 587 Teaching and Learning Online class for the summer of 2017. You are embarking on a trip that is of your own making. This class was designed from the get-go to allow you the maximum freedom to experience the class and to be able to be interactive within the class. Let me show you what our class looks like in the U-Link. As you can see, there are 5 of us in this class. 4 of us in this class. And as you can see, it starts May 8th, but it runs through August the 8th, which means that this class is essentially running for the entire summer. If you will look at the estimated days and times, you will see that it says TBA. This is so that your instructor, me, Steve Swan, can essentially work with you, the student, to establish how you want to do this class. The class is essentially located in Blackboard, and it uses a variety of other tools other than Blackboard. We'll be using to a great deal of degree a tool called VoiceThread. We will be creating voice threads, but we will also be using voice threads as a way of sharing our ideas about what it is that we are learning in class. We also use a tool called Schoology, which is an online LMS which is widely used throughout the Commonwealth of Kentucky. It is a free tool. You may hear noises about that Schoology costs money. Schoology only costs money if your school district decides to use it as a district-wide LMS. But as an individual, you are more than welcome to have your own Schoology account. Now, this class is all about teaching and learning online. We are about understanding teaching and learning online. This is not an application class. In other words, what you create here, you are not necessarily taking it back and using it in your classroom as a part of your grade. As an aside, I will tell you, though, that many of my students do that as an independent study. And so if you think about it, this class can quickly roll over into another class that you and I would design, where you would take the ideas of the course, the design that you have created in the course, and you actually put them in place at your school and see how it goes. Very quickly, let me walk you through how the structure of this class is set up. As you can see over here in the Blackboard space, a lot of things are showing up. That's because I have the Blackboard turned on for me to edit. Let me turn that off. And now you see what the Blackboard space looks like. Pretty simple. I'm going to try to have a Collaborate session available every time the class meets. And that means that I will be there live online in synchronous mode to answer your questions and to help illuminate what it is that we have been doing in class. Collaborate is the tool that the University of Louisville uses for its online collaboration. It's kind of like GoToMeeting. I'm not going to say it's like Skype because it's not like Skype at all. But it is an online tool, and you'll see I'll have another email that'll be coming out here very quickly where I will show you how it works. But here's the new stuff. We're going to be using a tool called VoiceThread. The VoiceThread allows us to build our own online discussions in a way that I find very interesting. Let me give you an idea. You will come in here and you will click on that link. It will then drop you over into our class. As you can see, I've already created a VoiceThread in here for the reading and discussion for Module 2. If I click on that, what it will do is it will start the module. Now, forgive that audio on that. That's the audio that goes with that video. But that particular video is all about the reading that is in Module 2. The reading that is in Module 2 is like 48 pages long. And good online design says very clearly that we should have multiple pathways for students to interact with material in our online course. And that is a thesis that you will hear me repeat over and over and over again, because I'm very much a universal design for learning kind of guy. I sincerely believe in it. It is a very simple mantra. Multiple pathways in, multiple pathways of demonstration of understanding. Very simple. This also, though, is a place where we can drop in if we have questions. Because, and I will lead these prompts, if I click on that plus sign right there, it now is waiting for me to leave a comment about this video. That comment can take the form of a question. It can take the form of a demonstration of your understanding about what it is that we're talking about. By the way, this is Toward a Theory of Online Learning. It was written by a guy by the name of Terry Anderson. He is a professor out of Athabasca University in Canada. Why Canada, you may ask? Don't we have good people here in the United States who write about online learning? Well, yes, we do. But you have to understand that Canada has been using online learning for a very long time. A lot longer than the United States. You know why? It's huge. And because it's so big, it had to have a way for people to connect across very great distances. I think the best example that a friend of mine gave me one time was, he said, I've had a lot of interactions and a lot of work with the University of Toronto in Ontario. And you know where Toronto is. It's right across the lake from Detroit, Michigan. It's an easy car trip to get there. His comment to me was, so here we are, we're sitting on the lake in Toronto. We were at a nice, lovely restaurant that overlooks the lake. We're having a wonderful dinner. He said, if you travel due north from Toronto to the top of Ontario, you'll be dealing with polar bears. Now let's let that sink in for a second. When we travel south in the state of Kentucky, what do we deal with? People who live in Tennessee. You travel north from Louisville, what do you deal with? Well, you don't have to go very far, and all of a sudden you're dealing with Hoosiers. But if you lived in Ontario and you traveled north from Toronto, which is pretty far to the south, and you go all the way to the top of Ontario in the north, you can see polar bears. That's how big it is. So Terry Anderson has written this really great book called Toward a Theory of Online Learning. That book is 488 pages long. I could have put that book into the bookstore and you could have bought it and you would have hated me. Because what we're trying to do here is to get a 50,000-foot view of what online learning is, but then take a much tighter view of what design of a good, strong course looks like. So we're going to be using VoiceThread to illuminate and to talk about, you'll be using VoiceThread for the same purpose. You're going to create your own. Well, let's go through the modules real quick, and then I'm going to send this to you, and then we're going to set up our times. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a quick little fun, the bubby as I call him, is going to explain to us a very simple understanding of where all of this comes from. And as you can see, there's not a lot in here. It's very short, very sweet, because the history of online learning is rather interesting, but it's also rather short. We don't need to spend a lot of time with that. But here's where we're going to spend some serious quality time. This is Foundations of Understanding Online Teaching and Learning. In here we get into the theoretical. Forgive me, but we are at a research university, so we need to spend some time here. I'm going to take you through that VoiceThread, but we're also going to be looking at Terry's chapter number 2 from his book, and here it is, right here. We're also going to look at something called paradigm shifts, because what online learning represents is a paradigm shift, an enormous paradigm shift. And these videos, you're noticing, I hope, that I rely a lot on video as well as text. Why? Again, remember that mantra, multiple pathways in, multiple pathways to show demonstration. As I said, this link will take you to the chapter online. If you have your Chrome set up right, and I use Chrome, by the way, you can actually have it read to you the chapter, again, allowing for multiple pathways in to the understanding. A very strong way to engage people in your online course, allowing for those multiple ways of engagement. We're going to go ahead right off the bat in Module 2 and jump into Schoology. And we're just going to jump into it because I want you to get a sense of what it can look like and how it can be used. And as you can see here, it's kind of a mirror of what it looked like over there at Blackboard. Here's the Paradigm movies. And the inquiry based. Down here is pretty much the heart of the matter. This is called Quality Matters. And we'll get into that in Module 4. In Module 3, we're going to be looking at something called Knowledge Building Principles. Knowledge Building Principles based upon 4 ideas: constructivism, collaboration, and ideas to the center, and questioning. One of the most important things that an online classroom should do, but few, very few, seldom do, is moving the ideas of the curriculum and the content, or the content, to the center of the class. That's when true exchange of information and understanding occur. If you've had any understanding by design training, Wiggins and McTeague, well, their sort of thing is all learning should be understanding with demonstrations. In other words, putting it to practice. And this is what knowledge building principles are about. It was created by a lady by the name of Marlene Scardamelia, Dr. Marlene Scardamelia, and her partner, Dr. Carl Bereiter. Dr. Carl Bereiter is a huge name in online learning. He is a huge name in education, as a matter of fact. He's right up there with Dewey. And he's still alive. And I'm proud to say he's a friend. Both of them work out of the University of Toronto, hence my connection to them. And what Marlene has to say about the way that we should structure learning is a total paradigm shift. But it's an interesting idea. And the online classroom is where it should be focused right now. Politically, we're not ready to do it in classrooms, although I will say that in Jefferson County Public Schools about 20 years ago, I was co-director of a project in Jefferson County called CECL, computer simulated intentional learning environments, where we were in a great many schools in the district, had about 80 some odd teachers involved in the project, and we did this in classrooms. I've now come to believe that the online classroom is really where this can be done, but it must be done with some serious understandings about design. And that takes us to Module 4. Here's your design right here. In other words, if you take anything away from this class, you're going to take away what Quality Matters means and what Quality Matters does not mean. Quality Matters, as you can see here, is a peer review process. It is a way for people to talk about what they have created. It's a course development tool. It is a professional development opportunity, an opportunity to participate in a community dedicated to quality in online courses. That's their ad speak. What I'm telling you it is a way for you to have a structure, finally. I don't know if any of you have ever taken any PD around the old JCPS Online or the new Blackboard Learn that JCPS has now adopted. But the thing I always found very frustrating about that, and I was very much a part of that, was we never really had a structure that basically helped people understand how things can work in their classroom for kids to have success. We spend some quality time there. Then we spend a little bit of time in Blackboard Learn, and we spend some time in Schoology. And what we're doing is we are trying to understand both of the Schoology and the Blackboard through the lens of Quality Matters. You're going to design a course, and then you will use the Quality Matters as a way for you to self-assess. Now, I will assess as well, but you're going to have the opportunity to self-assess. And as I said, people get very weird, or not weird, they get very worried. And they're saying, well, you mean a whole course? You mean a whole semester? No. I mean a course with, say, 1 unit. And in that unit, you reflect all of the Quality Matters. Now, if you want to take this class, and roll it into an independent study, what we will do is we will then expand upon that, and we will roll it all the way through a year's worth or semester's worth, depending upon what kind of school you're in, of instruction, and then see how it goes. One last thought. Why online learning? Why are we doing this? Well, it's been around forever, as you'll learn. But here's what's really happening. And I'll tell it through a simple story. I was at the Archdiocese of Louisville last summer, and I was doing a training for all the brand new K-TIP teachers in the Archdiocese. And we were talking about how to use various tools, YouTube being one, and Google Drives being another, to collect their resources for their K-TIP year. I made sort of just an offhand comment about eventually you all will probably be looking at using online in your instruction, and when someone stopped me and said, we already are. I then asked the question, how many of you are going to be working in a school that has online instruction as a part of the day-to-day operation of the building? 80% of them raised their hand. At the Kentucky Department of Education, a good friend, Marty Parks is his name. Marty is head of a department called Innovation Initiative. And what they are about, very, very seriously, is designing the online that would not be a separate piece. In Jefferson County, we call that eSchool. But it would be a piece that a teacher in a classroom would have that they would use. Right now, the talk is around the idea of snow day school, having resources in class time for kids when they're out because of snow days. But There's also talk about Saturday school. There is talk about teachers having a preparation. In other words, high school teacher normally has 4 to 5 preparations. One of those might look like an online class instead of having people sitting in their room. There is a great deal of talk about doing this. And right now in the state of Kentucky, with all the changes that have come with charter schools, the rethinking of how we're going to do teacher evaluation, this is a very hot topic, and you need to be full of understandings about what it looks like and how it works. Sorry about the dog noise. All right, so let's get down to this right now. And that is, what are we going to do about meeting? First of all, as you can see, we started today, and that's why you're getting this email with this video in it. I would like to start real class a week from today, which would be the 15th. I will be online from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And that will be for you to be able to pop in and just kind of, in fact, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and pop in to just sort of say hi and see how Collaborate works. You'll be getting another email here before the end of the week, and I will show you in that email how Collaborate works. I just want you to be able to pop in, say hello, and then we can have an understanding about what the first module is going to look like. Those will all be recorded, stored away. The way it works is up here in this very simplified Blackboard space. Right there, we will have a link that will be the videos that we create each time I go in here and talk about one of the modules. As you can see, I don't have it here right now. You know why? Because there's nothing in it. And Blackboard won't show a link unless there's actually something connected to it. But there'll be a link here that'll say Collaborate Movies for EDAP 587 Summer 17. And that essentially is me talking, you watching, but you can talk back to me. The reason why I want to use the voice thread is this allows for us to have collaborative interactions in an asynchronous manner. You'll understand what all that means here very shortly. Whereas the Collaborate is more a synchronous tool. In other words, you're actually physically there at the same time I am. Whereas the voice thread allows us to have an asynchronous conversation. Now, one of the things that I do with the voice thread is I turn on what's called moderation, commenting moderation. And that allows me to get emails that basically say, hey, Susie just dropped in and left a comment on the voice thread about Module 2. And I can jump back in there and see what she had to say, and I can add my comment back to either her specific question or to the assignment. And guess what? Everyone in the class can see everyone's comments. It's a really cool way to do collaboration. I find that discussion forums in an online class pretty much lead to the death of the discussion because they are so deadly dull and boring and typing and et cetera, et cetera. Can you type in a comment and voice it? Sure. Hey, you can. But more importantly, you can talk, you can upload your own ideas, you can put links in it to ideas that you have been looking at. So I'm a big voice thread. I've been involved with voice thread probably for 15 years. So, bottom line, we will start a real class, which means you can join it in synchronous mode or watch the videos in asynchronous mode for Monday, May 15. I will be online 4 to 5 because I don't need to take up a great deal of your time. It's all there. These videos, this thing I'm using right now is called Screencast-O-Matic. These videos will be sent to you via email, so watch your email. Watch your U of L email, not your JCPS or any other email. And they will basically give you a setup for what we're going to do. So, that's it for today. If you're going to join the class in synchronous mode, I will see you next Monday, May 15th at 4 o'clock. Understand that if this is not going to work for folks, there's only 4 of us, actually 5 counting me. Let's come together and have a discussion about it. And we can do that, guess where? In a voice thread. Yay! And I'm going to go ahead now, and when I get done with this, and I'm going to go ahead and drop in and do that. I'm going to create one for the class. I do ask your indulgence. I am going to try to sneak in a vacation down to my brand new condominium on the Gulf Shores out by Fort Morgan State Park. It's a gorgeous place. And one of these days I will probably just go down there and stay and not come back. That will be the last week, starting on the 15th of May through that following Friday, June 2, I think it is. I will still have my computer, and guess what I can do? You got it. I can be in the online class. But I am going to ask your indulgence and tolerance that we may skip that. We may skip that Monday class. If Mondays are a terrible day, again, we need to talk. So let me know. All right. I look forward to having this nice little group, and I hope you're looking forward to designing an online class that has real meaning to you.